Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here, and once again it is Monday, so it is time for the Q&A. I got so many questions this week that I can't even cover these in a reasonable period of time, so I'm going to do a three-parter and I'm going to try to answer about 15 of these questions that I have. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, let's jump right into this. First question. How many max lift attempts in 1 week? I personally recommend that for guys making true max efforts attempting a PR, I would not attempt more than 3 true PRs per week if you're going for maximum effort work. And I wouldn't do it on more than 1 PR per week on any given lift. So if it's squat, bench, and deadlift, 1 of each. Just using those as an example. And that's what I would limit it to just for central nervous system recovery. Alright, next question. This one didn't come up in the newsfeed, but it's one of my regular posters who comments a lot, asked me in private if I would cover this one, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. Is gay for pay popular in elite bodybuilding circles? To put it bluntly, yes. Gay for pay is extremely big in IFBB pro ranks, and it has been for a couple of decades. And it has to do with the fact that the cost of some of the drugs is just astronomical compared to what most 19, 20, and 21-year-old guys have in terms of disposable income. Things like anabolic steroids are really, really cheap. I mean, a couple grams of testosterone a week and some ancillaries, you can afford that on a minimum wage job almost. But it's things like the growth hormone, and particularly now the guys with the IGF-1R3, to get pro-sized to be in the IFBB ranks. And these particular drugs are the reason why IFBB guys are so much bigger than powerlifters. It's not the training style, it's the drug differences. But these particular drugs, it's not uncommon for a lot of even aspiring IFBB guys to spend $500 or $1,000 a month on these. And how many 20-year-olds do you know with $1,000 a month of disposable income laying around? And that's not even including their other drugs, their food bills, their training equipment, anything else. So yeah, it's very, very common. It's well known in most inner circles that it's common, and even Flex Wheeler in his book, and that he did it personally himself to finance his bodybuilding. And I've heard estimates as high as 80 to 90% of IFBB pros have done this. Basically anyone who didn't have the financial means and wasn't independently wealthy trying to earn their pro card probably had to do this in order to afford the drugs. Alright, next question. Liquid calories, calories from shakes versus whole food calories. Honestly, at the end of the day, guys, as long as your macros and micros are hit, it doesn't really matter in terms of your body composition, how you get it. But in terms of satiation, this is an absolute issue. And I would say that for the most part, unless you're a undereater, like the true hard gainer, which I call an undereater, liquid calories are probably not the best approach because you're just not going to get satiation, and it's going to be a big problem on a cut. And even for me, because I'm such a voracious overeater, even on a bulk, I prefer foods I can chew just for the satiation purpose. However, for someone who is a true hard gainer, liquid calories can be massively helpful to you in reaching your goals. So look at it that way. Look at it as convenience versus satiation and what your personal goals are rather than the nutritional value, because at the end of the day, your body doesn't care where you got each individual thing from. It only cares about fatty acids, glucose, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals. It doesn't care what combinations of food you use to get there. All right, next question. Can you gain as much strength on a cut as on a bulk? If you're cutting for the first time, should you be going for strength? Two different questions, and the first one is it's not even remotely possible to gain as much strength in a deficit as you can on a surplus. You can flat out gain strength far more quickly when you are bulking than when you are cutting, and it's not just to do with training energy, it has to do with a lot of your strength gains, even on a powerlifting program, are direct tissue hypertrophy. And if you're not supplying the fuel and the food and the building blocks you need for that, you're not gaining muscle as quickly. And if you're not gaining muscle as quickly, you're not gaining strength as quickly. You can only get so much neural adaptation. Now, as to the second question, absolutely. I am a huge proponent of people training more for strength than for volume and workload when they are cutting, for the simple fact that you're not going to gain very much, if any, muscle when you're cutting, and you need to focus on maintaining performance and total motor unit recruitment and maintaining performance over trying to induce as much hypertrophy as possible. And that's just my personal take on it. A lot of other experts out there do agree with me on that, but not everyone. But that's my personal take on it. So to answer that, yes. All right, last question in this segment. Do you believe that the maximum amount of weight gain for naturals is half a pound a week? I wouldn't say weight gain, and people need to lose this idea of the completely lean bulk, or that you're even not going to gain glycogen or water or anything else, just pure muscle weight. So they need to drop this idea of the pure lean bulk for anybody trying to make relatively quick gains in muscle mass. But that aside, I would say that, yeah, for someone who's relatively new to training, you're still green, because this goes away the more experience you get. That is around the maximum amount of muscle you're going to gain on a really, really good program. It's going to be around half a pound a week, so around 2 pounds a month. And you can't even guarantee that unless you're eating plenty of calories, that you're in a caloric surplus, and your training is very good. And by around 6 to 9 months, you probably will not even be able to gain that much anymore. But it depends on the person's genetics and their program. All right, guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I'll knock out a couple more of these for you later, and I will talk to you next time.